Hello everyone, welcome to the Ginger Snaps here, where I'll be discussing horror movies with you guys in a very blunt way. I am your host, Steven Harrold, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my review for Scream 6, or Scree IVI, released on March 10th to theaters across the world.
Four survivors of the Ghostface murders leave Woodsboro behind for a fresh start in New York City. However, they soon find themselves in a fight for their lives when a new killer embarks on a bloody rampage.
Now, of course, with Scream now no longer in Woodsboro and it's now taking place in New York City, this isn't the first time a movie has done this. I mean, as we all know, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan has done this, and ooh, that got quite the reception. But with this now in a different landscape, a different place, with more people added to the mix, it's only fitting that there is a possibility that the body count would be a lot higher and the stakes a lot higher. But does the movie pay off on all those aspects? This is going to be me talking about the movie itself. So let's get into it. First things first, guys, this is my spoiler-free review. So if you guys haven't seen the movie yet, next week I will be giving you guys my spoiler review. So, this gives you guys some time to watch the movie for yourselves, come back to the channel, and watch my spoiler review. So, don't worry guys, no spoilers in this video. When it comes to the story of this film, of course, it's another Scream film. Another killer dressed up as Ghostface, killing and hunting down the survivors of the previous film, even the legacy characters, which, we only have one of the remaining ones in this film, Gale Weathers, played by Courtney Cox, and of course, with the addition of Kirby coming back from Scream 4, with the absence of Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott. And of course, as we all know in Scream 5, Dewey bites the dust. David Arquette's dead in this franchise now. So with the new batch of characters that we did get that survived in Scream 5, it was only fitting that, they were going to be the new targets. And when it comes to the story of this film, especially with the dynamic of how they progress the story with a certain character, the Sam character, it's kind of okay for how it is, especially with today's modern society. I mean, rumors going out on the internet and, controversial theories going around, and it makes sense for the movie. Now, of course, when it comes to the setting of New York City, I do think they kind of nail it in a certain way. The only problem is, as we all know, this movie mainly got shot in Toronto, Canada, and also Montreal, Canada. So, it really doesn't really help the aspect of New York City when the majority of the movie is actually shot in fucking Canada. I get it, it's a lot cheaper, but still, if you're gonna fucking market a movie in New York City, at least show a little bit more of New York City. But anyways, other than that, the story does kind of have a good quality to it, and I do approve of the story. When it comes to the characters of this movie, of course, some are hits or some are misses. And of course, this movie, it does establish that there are certain characters in this movie, but of course, it's a Scream franchise. So of course, some of these characters you are now starting to guess, who the fuck is the killer? And to me, personally, in my opinion, when it came to this movie, it was the one film in the franchise, of course, where it wasn't like Scream 6, where immediately, as soon as I saw one of the characters, I was like, that person's the killer. In this movie, I didn't even know who the fucking killer was. So, at least, thank God for that. But anyway, other than that, when it comes to all the characters, especially the ones that had survived in the previous encounter in Scream 5, still lovable, still, I'm on board with them, of course, even like Jenna Ortega's character, trying to grieve over what's going on, but she's kind of going about it the wrong way. And of course, the Sam character, obviously going about it her own wrong way as well. And just them all trying to, establish themselves as practically survivors in this movie. It still is one of the things I do appreciate. And of course, Gale Weathers, played by Courtney Cox, of course, welcome addition, of course. But I mean, let's face it, I think we all were agreeing that we wanted her to die in Scream 5. Like, one of the three legacy characters had to die, and we all wanted it to be her. But it wasn't. So how much screen time does she get in this movie? Not a lot, but at least she still has that kind of presence for her. And of course, with the introduction or the return of Kirby was very much a debate that was going on ever since 2011, because they didn't really see her definitively die. So for her addition to come back into the franchise, just makes it a little bit better. And maybe there's a possibility that another character, which a lot of people have been rumoring and a lot of people have been speculating, would return. Now, do I personally think that character should be returning? Maybe. I would love to see it and see how it goes. But other than that, when it comes to all the characters, especially the ones that you kind of don't really care for, those ones, yeah, you kind of don't care for them. But nonetheless, all the characters are pretty decent in this film. Now, in the trailer, it does give out that our antagonist has even said that he is something different. Now, of course, I'm talking about Ghostface himself. How is this killer even more portrayed in this movie? It's a lot more angry than previous films. I mean, this Ghostface has a certain agenda, and all the Ghostfaces in the whole entire franchise always have this certain agenda, but this one seemed like he was a lot meaner, a lot more dangerous, a lot more aggressive when it came to his kills. And just, Roger Jackson's voice portrayal of Ghostface even seems like he has taken it a bit more above than what he had previously done. So I do like Roger Jackson's performance, of course, with the voice of Ghostface. He had more to play with. There's a lot more quirkier one-liners, but very clever, to say the least. But one of the things that is the downfall of the Ghostface character is obviously when the reveal happens. Now, I'm not going to get into the spoilers, but of course I will say one of the reveals was shocking because of, the runtime that was going on. And of course, when it comes to the full reveal of the killer of Ghostface, wow, was I fucking pissed. I didn't like the reveal of the Ghostface killer or killers, depending on what you guys always think. When I saw the reveal for the Ghostface killers and then their motives, I fucking hated it. It was pretty much, a letdown for me. Now, one of the biggest positives of this movie is definitely the kills and the gore. Ghostface in this movie just upped the ante. Like, the kills in this movie are a lot more brutal than previous ones before. And, of course, it does show even in the gore factor and the special effects when it comes to this film. I cannot believe that when I saw Scream 5, that literally I was just like, okay, the kills are a little bit better. And this one trumps it. It actually blows Scream 5 out of the water when it comes to the gore and the kills. So definitely for sure, there are a few that I have to, when rewatching this movie again, I'm going to have to see which one is actually my favorite kill of the movie, but there was quite a bit of them where I was like, fuck, that was actually a good fucking kill. But nonetheless, good thing that the Carnage Candy is very popular, especially with Ghostface, and of course, bringing it all a lot gorier and a lot more aggressive in this film. So I do appreciate that. Ghostface, you're in your 6th film now, so you gotta get a little bit more nasty. And Ghostface definitely delivered on that part. Now, of course, you guys are probably most likely thinking that, hey, he actually kind of enjoyed it. Well, sadly, this is the part where I have to now pretty much say the movie did hook me on certain things, but sadly, the movie lost me. This movie is pretty much a remake of a certain film in the same franchise. Shot for shot, not really, but certain aspects of the movie definitely harkens back to a certain film in the franchise. Even the certain things that happen, it was like, are you gotta be fucking kidding me? So of course, yes, this movie did have some good positives when it came to this film, but it gets overshadowed with the fact that the downfall of this movie is definitely the premise when it comes to the fact that the movie barely is shot in New York. The killer reveals are weak as fucking hell. The motive straight up copied, and it's one of the things where if you guys have seen me in previous fucking movies, I sit there and say Scream 3 actually had the balls to do something different, and this film, of course, it does something different, but it's not in the best taste in a way when it comes to the killer. But other than that, when it comes to this movie, even though there's things I do like about it, there was just way too many fucking problems with this movie. It lost me a few fucking times after watching it. And of course, I did end up thinking to myself after walking out of the theater was, really? This is where they're going with this? So if they are planning to do a Scream 7, or a Scream 8 from what I'm being told, um, it's only going to go downhill if it gets to this point, which I'm starting to think they're going full kind of pre-make in a way when it comes to that. Of course, when it does come to this movie, a lot of people were highly anticipating this film, of course, myself as well. You know, after what Scream 5 had done, it was like, okay, well, let's see if Scream 6 gets everything back on the ball again. But of course, like I said, when it comes to character development, it comes to the kills, all positives. The premise being different is like, okay, it's nice and fresh and relieving. Certain blatant twists or certain things that happen that has not happened before in this franchise do happen, and it was kind of nice to see. But of course, when it comes to the problems, it definitely has a lot to do with the killer reveal, the motive behind the kills, and of course the oversaturation of copying a certain film from the franchise. It's like, well, I've already seen this fucking movie already, so why did we need an update of said film we've seen, and why did it have to be this way? So I don't understand why they decided to go this fucking route. But from what I understand, a lot of people have been walking out of the theater very impressed with this film. They are also the people who did like this movie, hated Halloween Ends. Well, Halloween Ends did something different. This film decided to copy another film from the same franchise. And that's why, for me, this movie kind of almost nails it, but above all else, it's kind of a letdown to me. This movie lost me quite easily. So, for my rating, I'm going to give Scream 6 a 4.5 out of 10. So tell me guys, have you guys seen Scream 6 yet? What did you guys think of the film? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you also give it a thumbs up and also subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that bell notification if you want to get notified about all the other videos coming out on this channel. Anyways guys, that's it for me. This has been the Ginger Snaps here. My name is Steven Harrold, and I will talk to you guys later. Stay spooky.